And last one for today. I had to play a little catch up because I missed my what if yesterday. We had plans, so that's fine. I can't get it all every day. But I have actually not looked at any of the numbers today, or the actuals. So let's actually take a look at it. Superman, not surprisingly, is at number one again, making 57.2 million in its second week, only dropping 54.2%. Gotta be happy about that. Jurassic World still only drops another 42%, making 23.4 million. I Know What You Did Last Summer debuts with 13 million. Now, from what I found, this film is made on roughly like 18 million. I'll double check that. Hold on. Let's see here now. Nope. I Know What You Did Last Summer, 2025. I want the 2025 film, not the 2025 film budget. Let's see here. Yeah, about 18 million. So that's at least good for it. So 13 million is not a bad start. Smurfs, I found Smurfs is actually a little on the lower side for its budget. Let's see here. Smurfs, la 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 la. I Smurfs. I Smurfs. I haven't done my full review of Smurfs yet either, have I? I guess I'll do that a little later too. Smurfs budget 2025. First 2025, 58 million for the budget. Conservative. But to be views at 11 million, and F1 still in the top 5 with another 9.6 million. Let's talk Superman. That's the big boy on the block until Fantastic Four is out this week. Dropped only 54.2%. That's a good number. Reasonably, you want your movie to drop between 50 and 55. If it's a little higher, it's okay. If it's lower than that, you're gravy. Anything over 60 is not a good drop off. But this, the international is going to be a bit of a slower roll anyway, but it's already at $406 million. Now, it gets a $220 million budget, and you got to assume probably about $200 million, because they say it was a big marketing budget on this. It's a film that does have to make close to $600 million to break even. But right now, it's only in week 2, and it's well on its way for that. And look, as has been said before, this film does not need to make $1 billion. This film doesn't technically even need to make its money back. It's on a good route to doing that, but it doesn't need to make its money back. What it needed to do was be a good film, get people interested in the Superman and the DCEU again, and it did that. If you didn't like it, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. If you're disliking it for very stupid reasons, it's so political, no, that's stupid. You're being stupid. You're throwing your agenda in there. But if you don't like it for legitimate, that's fine. But the majority of people, if you look at Rotten Tomatoes, the credits and the audiences, at minimum like the film. And some people love it. I love this film. This is a great film. It was a great time. I look forward to more of this universe. So 406 million, basically 407, it's 0.8. In just week 2 is a great sign for the health of this universe to start with. And this is going to be great for Fantastic Four this week, because we have Thunderbolts, which was coming off, unfortunately, Brave New World, which wasn't the best. But it was really well received, really good film, all that. Then you got that momentum going into Superman. Now you got that momentum going into Fantastic Four, which is stated to be, or is speculated to open up for around 110, maybe 120. It means it could probably beat Superman's 125 if it's carrying this good faith. And the reviews for Fantastic Four are also apparently really good, at least coming from the theater owners and stuff like that who saw it. So it's really interesting. It's a really interesting time because it feels like, at least, the superhero movies are starting to regain their steam finally. We felt a little bit that Wolverine and Deadpool and Wolverine. Agatha was really good as a show. Ironheart was okay. I didn't hate Ironheart. Daredevil was great. Brave New World was a bit of a hiccup, but if we're looking just on the movie side, it was Deadpool, Wolverine, but then Brave New World came. But now we got Thunderbolts, great, Superman, great, and hopefully Fantastic Four is great. We could now be seeing the gears of motion again for the next wave of the superheroes movies dominating the box office. So this is great. This actually is a really good sign for the health. By the way, real quick, we want to take a look at that's thunder. If we want to take a look at the health of the box office real quick, let's see. This would be 30 million, 80 million. Yeah, it's another 100 million plus weekend at the box office. So good for it. Justice League World Rebirth. Jurassic World Rebirth made another 23 million. It's 647 million. Look, this film's almost certainly not hitting $1 billion. It's not. It's not hitting a billion. It's if it were saying like the 700s, I'd still actually say there'd be a chance, but it's not even at 700 yet. So it's not going to do that. But it's made its money back. The movie's actually made on less than $200 million. And in fact, probably 100 in marketing, which I believe we did the math on it. This film has already made its budget back a while ago now. So now it's just printing money. It is probably going to be to be fair, it's coming off of a franchise that we're in the 7th iteration of the film series. We're in the first Jurassic World, by far the best, all that. We've already talked about, I've already given my brief ranking. But all 3 of the previous Jurassic Worlds made over $1 billion, but they kind of, I will say Dominion, I think, is better than Fallen Kingdom. Fallen Kingdom, I'd actually argue Fallen Kingdom is kind of boring a little bit in a lot of it. Like, the stuff on the island's still good. The volcano erupting scene's great. But, like, all that stuff at, like, Lockwood's Manor and all that, like, just, I don't care. The clone subplot is stupid as all hell. They at least got us back into the dinosaur stuff a little bit more with the Dominion. But then you had the Locust subplot. But you gave the whole idea of dinosaurs living among people thing going on. So there is that as well. So it was still managed to make $1 billion, though it was the least billion of the 3. So the fact that this one coming off of a weak last entry, maybe not a god awful one, but a weak last entry, is still impressive that it can muster. Clearly it's going to make over 700 million, maybe even cracking over 800 million. But $1 billion, no, billion's out of reach for this at this point, I think. Especially just because even though it's only in week 3, it's had to deal with both Superman, now it's got to deal with Fantastic Four. 2 back-to-back blockbusters, even though there's room for everyone and still making money. If those had not been so close to it, maybe it actually could have managed the $1 billion. Maybe. But either way, it's still doing good. We cannot judge that. I don't think we can judge that negatively. I Know What You Did Last Summer debuted with $13 million and had $11.6 million international weekend. $24.6 million, $18 million. You saw an $18 million budget. I looked it up. And the fact that it's probably didn't have a lot of probably only $20 million of marketing, if we're being honest. I only ever saw like the one trailer and like the one like redone version of that trailer. So, I mean, the fact that this franchise actually has a dedicated fan base enough to go see it on some level, opened on 13 million, well over half the budget, and 24 worldwide. I mean, you're looking at a film that has to hit about 60 million to break even. I don't know if it can do that, but I mean, I wouldn't vote against it necessarily. So good for it. We'll see what the long term looks like, because we got some better looking horror movies. I actually didn't even check what the Rotten Tomatoes is on that. I know Smurfs is like only 20 some odd %, but let's see here. What did they give this new one? Because it's clearly following the trend of the screams here. Ooh. First off, 21%. How bad do you have to be as a movie, Smurfs, to be lower than 38% for I Know What You Did Last Summer? Ugh. I'll say this. Smurfs I don't think is 21% bad. I do think it's under 50% bad, but I don't think it's 21% bad. Either way, not good. Speaking of Smurfs, even with a $58 million budget, it debuted with $11 million. Worldwide, $33.6 million. Unless that international is going to wreak some havoc. In fact, let me just look up Smurfs real quick. Let's see here. What did the others do internationally? Because that's, I think, where, if this thing's going to get saved, where this will be saved. Oh, rain's coming in. So, okay. Oh, yeah. Smurfs The Lost Village. On a budget of $60 million, managed to still do $197 million. So, honestly, they made their money back. But, yeah, it made the bulk of it internationally. And honestly, this is probably closer to Smurfs The Lost Village, so there's probably no reason to really be judging the other ones. So honestly, and it's made on the list, so if it could maybe do even those numbers, I mean, that'd be profitable, but we'll see. If anyone who's watched my Out of the Theater reaction knows I didn't like the movie that much. F1 still made $9.6 million. It's that $460 million. Look, I give this movie credit. It is made on a ridiculous, unreasonable budget, but it's still trudging along, and it might even cross 500 million. That is nowhere near enough to make its money back, but it still may be able to cross 500 million, so that's good. How to Train Your Dragon, a little over 500 million, or 505 million, they wish. 580 million. I'm going to call it. I don't think this is going to be able to be the highest grossing of the series, and nor does it. It might cross 600 million. It's less than 20 million away, but it doesn't have to do that, which is fine. Both How to Train Your Dragon. It's actually, when you talk about just looking at the health of the box office in terms of what these films have made so far, like Jurassic World's profitable. How to Train Your Dragon's profitable. Lilo and Stitch, going to talk about that in a second, very profitable. So even for the stuff that isn't as profitable, it's not the end of the world. Eddington, May 2020, standoff between a small-town sheriff and a mayor sparks a powder keg as neighbor is pitted against neighbor at Eddington, New Mexico. Okay, it's based off a real story. I saw the poster for it, but okay. So an A24 film, they don't normally do that well financially. I'm not surprised. Ilya made our $2 million. Still trudging along, man. Like, it's going to make over 3 million. Now, someone did note that about like the history, and I looked up Wikipedia, and there is apparently there is true that there like something was changed in the process. Apparently, Ilya was supposed to be more queer based, like, but the backlash, I call bull on the backlash from Lightyear. Like, yeah, I call bull on that. One, that we have a same-sex couple that share a one kiss. Look, yet you have openly queer characters in other venues in the Marvel universe, in other movies, and it's fine. Like, I call BS on that. But to be fair, Elio, I think, was in production during the Chapek era, if I'm not mistaken. Because Bob only came back recently. So, like, within the last 2 years or so. So Elio, because of like being pushed off and all that, Elio was in production probably during the Chapek era. So that would actually, I think, make more sense. I don't believe it's Bob Iger who would have done that. Bob Iger, the guy who steered the ship not once but twice, at least twice into victory. Like, I don't see that happening. But maybe I'm wrong. I mean, I think it's maybe says Iger, but I don't know for certain on that. Either way, though, be honest, the issue with the film I don't love the film. I think it's okay. But the issue with the film, again, is bad marketing, which, fine, whatever. But beyond that, it just had a bad spot. It was not in a good spot. And again, the strikes had a effect on it too. But it was not in a good spot in terms of where it could be seen and appreciated. So I think that was actually the bigger problem. Lilo and Stitch, 1.5 billion. The first official billion-dollar film of 2024. 1 billion, almost 8 million. Congratulations to Lilo and Stitch. Honestly, while I would have loved to see like Thunderbolts or something like that hit 1 billion. Among the films that could have hit 1 billion, absolutely Lilo and Stitch deserve it. It's currently the highest grossing film of 2025. And yes, every time I say that, I'm going to keep saying that Nizatu is not being counted in this scenario because clearly there's bullshit going on with that. There's clearly some inflation from someone who's not going by everyone else's guidelines, doing their own guidelines. That's a load of crap. I actually don't like the fact that Box Office Mojo is effectively reporting that. But whatever. And currently that puts Lilo and Stitch as the 57th highest grossing film of all time. Now, it's got enough left in the tank to at least make it the 56th, maybe somewhere in the mid-50s, but Lilo and Stitch admittedly is almost done its run. But the fact that it's in week 9, probably have another 2 or 3 weeks left in theaters. Still got a little over 1,000 left. It's in week 9, it's at 1 billion. Look, if it's going to be done its run, it ended in a good place. 28 years later, 1.3 million, 145 million. You're not talking about another film that just kind of keeps trudging along that maybe hit that break-even point. Again, I don't think it's going to, but I mean, good on it if it does. And they've already got the sequel lined up, so there is that. Mission Impossible, Final Reckoning, 588, maybe it manages to crack 600, but I don't think it will. So other than that, there's not much to talk about. Megan 2.0, again, came and went like a fart in the wind. It's not even going to hit 40 million. Materialists managed to cross 50 million this week. Good for it. There really isn't much else to talk about. Ballerina and Thunderbolts are actually still in some theaters. So Ballerina is at 132 million. Good for it. Thunderbolts is at 308. Yeah, no, it's like they're both done, but still good to see that it's able to get a little bit in there. This coming week, I don't think anyone's arguing it's Fantastic Four. It's going to be number one. Now, I did see, I thought I saw there is something else opening this week. Let me just be sure about that because it's going to be Fantastic Four. Let's be honest. House of Eden. What is that? Setting out to film their next paranormal investigation, Chris, Selena, and Jay encounter an 11th ancient spirit that resides in an abandoned house deep in the woods. Cool. IFC Films, okay. You're not being in the top 5, but cool. So Fantastic Four, Superman, no doubt. Jurassic World, no doubt. I might go Smurfs over I Know What You Did Last Summer just because it's animated. But family-friendly Fantastic Four. You know what? It's also got better reviews, so... But the audience is about equal in how they like it, so... I'll go with my gut, actually. I'll still say Smurfs over I Know What You Did Last Summer, I think. Although, it could actually be F1, now I think about it, because F1's taking very small drops. You know what? You know what? No. Fantastic Four, Superman, Jurassic World, F1, and then I will still go Smurfs, because the family appeal, I think, is a little bit better there. What the? Why is... I have this plugged in. Why are you not plugging in? Well, it's a good thing all right. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Later.